So as a lot of you guys know, I recently went ahead and picked up this red interior for the E46, which... And I was kind of thinking to myself, like, if I'm already going to go ahead and pick up this red interior, I might as well just update the ambient lighting kit in the car as well. Because right now, the kit, after around like 2 years, has hit a toll. Boy, if you don't get... Overall, this kit, especially like when it gets really hot out, just tends to sag a little bit. The light output isn't the best or ideal as how much I want it to be. And even over here, I feel like after a lot of uses, the door opening and closing, that EL wire loses its consistency with the light. So today I have a brand new kit, completely updated for 2024, and it's going to be way, way, way better. Stay tuned. So this is the kit I basically picked up. I got off AliExpress. It was around like 110 bucks, I believe. And this is everything in the box. So it comes with your instructions. This bag, I believe, is the footwell and the 4 other ambient lights that we still got to figure out where to put in the car. And then it also comes with 4 controllers, which are sub-controllers. And then I believe this would be the main controller. So ideally, this one would sit somewhere in the dash. And then if you have 4 doors, one would sit in each door. My car's a coupe, so I'm most likely just going to use 2 of these. And yeah, also comes with the updated style of ambient lighting. I'm not too sure what this specific style is called, but this has individual LEDs that run along the whole dash. So the light output's going to be much, much better. And this one has some pretty cool settings and modes as well that I want to show you guys a bit later. You're also going to need some additional wiring and as well some electrical tape. But other than that, guys, it's time to get started. So right now I'm currently in the process of removing my old ambient lighting kit just so I can get to a base standard and show you guys how this new kit actually gets installed. Now related to the pieces, you actually have to remove an interior to get the kit installed. You will have to take off the door cards, which are pretty easy. They're basically just held in by 3 Torx 20s. And then there's also another one right over here and another one right behind the airbag logo as well. And then once those pieces are out, you basically just go from each side of the door card and pop out all the clips, and then the door card should just come loose. And then don't forget, you also want to connect your door latch cable and your window switch cables and your speaker cables from the door cart before you pull it off. Now related to the glove box, there's basically 2 screws, I believe they're Phillips, that sit right at the end over there behind the glove box. You also want to disconnect your dampening shocks for the actual glove box itself. And basically these are just held in by a clip. You pop it out, it slips out of place pretty easy. There's also a few Phillips screws right at the top over here that you also will have to remove. For the center console piece right over here, you basically just pop it out. It's held in with clips. And once this piece is popped out, you'll see 2 Phillips screws that you just have to remove right over here. And then that will get this whole unit loose right over there. And then you also will have to remove that trim piece that sits at the top of your footwell. That one's also pretty easy. There's 3 Phillips screws right at the front. You'll see it. And then there's 2 tabs that hold it at the back. They just have to pop out. And then that whole unit just drops out. And the last piece is probably just this piece over here. Once you get a pry tool, you just pop it out. This trim piece literally just pops out, comes straight at you. And basically how I'm planning to power the kit, I actually have one of these flashlight adapter to cigarette lighter port adapters for my glove box. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna find an old USB cable that I have laying around. And then I'm gonna strip it apart and basically just pull the power and the ground from it. This will focus. So basically, yeah, you see how there's a power and ground? And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hook this up to this adapter, and then I'm gonna run 1 cable for each hub controller to power it up. That's basically how I'm gonna do it. And basically for my car, I'm gonna be running 1 hub for each door, and I'm also gonna run the central hub somewhere around the middle of the dashboard somewhere. So I'm basically gonna be running 3 power and ground cables from this 1 USB cable that I have. There is also another way you could power the full system without having a flashlight port adapter, because I know a lot of you guys don't have them. You could also go pick up an inline tap for your fuse box and basically tap it into the cigarette lighter fuse. I believe that is going to be a 20 amp fuse that you use for that one. But basically you pull power from that fuse, which is 12 volts, so it still should be enough to power the full kit. The reason I'm not doing that way is because I already have my Starlight kit connected to it, as you guys can see, and I don't really want to interfere with that wiring. But yeah, you guys can basically pull power from that fuse if you wanted, and then you just have to find a location where to ground out all your cabling. So basically any bolt that's connected to the chassis should be okay, or if you find any negative cables somewhere within the wiring of the car, you could also use that as well. And just a quick tip, when you guys are taking off the door carts, these bolts that are holding in the door carts, the small T20 bolts, they're really easy to strip because they sit at a really funny angle. So I really suggest just getting a flashlight, kind of just pointing it up in there and kind of just making sure you're hitting it at a right angle when you're trying to take it off, because they're pretty easy to strip. All right, so now that we have the door card off, I think it's probably going to be a good time to start taking off this trim piece over here, and then probably remove this piece so we can gain access to this whole area. And basically, to take this trim piece off, all you want to do is just push it forward, and it basically just slip out of place. And what I'm thinking about now, I'm probably going to take the glove box out. So there's a few Phillips screws I got to undo. I believe there's one over here, and when you open it up, there's one over here, another one right there. And then I believe there's two more that sit right in the back at each corner. And now I basically just pull the glove box out. Once you take all those bolts out, you kind of just pull it towards yourself, and then the whole thing kind of just pops out. And I place it on the ground right here. And then basically I'm just gonna drop this little plastic shelf over here, so this kind of just pulls forward, and then kind of just push it down just like that. And then I also went ahead and pop this piece out. So this piece just has two clips right on the end of it, right over here and there. And then basically just want to pop it out, and then this piece also comes out as well. And now you basically have full access to the firewall right over here. And then after that, you just want to move the carpet slightly out the way, and then remove this one push-in tab. And then you'll basically have access to the back of the electrical tunnel that's meant for the door. After that, I went ahead and I took out the 8mm bolt for the tunnel, and I removed the old EL wire kit that I had. This is the one strip that was going through the door though. There was also a little cover that sits right at the entrance of the tunnel. So I went ahead and removed this. This basically just pops out. So now what the next step is, I'm gonna go ahead and tape this to the end of one of my Phillips screwdrivers, and then I'm gonna feed it through the tunnel. So basically this rubber tunnel actually pops out from the wiring loom, and you can kind of put it in a way, you can kind of angle it down. I do suggest you kind of need two hands, but you have to go hold the cabling from behind and kind of leave it in its place, and then you can kind of pull this off and kind of angle it in a way where you can stick the screwdriver through it. And also what you want to do is basically just pop out the other end of the grommet too. Basically just, if you push in them from each side and you pull out, it'll come out. And then you kind of want to angle it straight, kind of like this. See what I'm doing? And then you also want to stick the screwdriver through it, but at the same time kind of put this in a way where you can fit the screwdriver through it as well. It's really hard to show with one hand, but you can definitely get it done. So as you guys can see, I basically stuck the screwdriver from the bottom end, and I kind of fed it through, and then I took a set of pliers and I kind of just got right at the top of it, and now I'm just starting to pull it through. Yeah, that's basically how I'm wiring it through. It's honestly not too bad. Going from the bottom is definitely much easier than going from the top. And then yeah, just feed your wire through, and then you can send it into the dashboard of the car. So basically now I ran the wire through, and I have it going into the glove box area now, and this should be just enough cabling for me to get everything done. And now I'm just gonna feed it into the door card now, or into the door area. All right guys, and basically just like that, I went ahead and I was able to pull power and ground cable through the tunnel. So that was probably the hardest part done. And now basically, now I'm gonna just figure out where I'm actually gonna be putting all the modules inside each door cart. And after that, all I basically did is put this foam cover back on, the insulation, and I just have the power cable running through over here. I was sitting here thinking about it, and what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna mount all these subcontrollers on the actual door cards themselves. And I basically picked up this kit. It's a waterproof connector kit for a 2-pin. And basically how I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna run this power cable alongside this, I believe it's a speaker cable. And I'm just gonna have this sit right beside it, so anytime I wanna take the door card off in the future, it's gonna be much easier. Instead of dealing with all the ambient lighting stuff, this is just something I'm kind of doing for myself and for anyone that's gonna work on the car later. So now I basically have the door cart on my bench now, and what I think I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna install the first LED strip right over here along this groove. And then earlier what I was saying, how I'm gonna have 2 extra LED strips, I'm actually gonna reuse them in the center console. I think that might be a better idea. Because, I don't know, I think it might be just too much going on around here on the door. Otherwise I'll just have one nice clean line, just leave it like that. And yeah, I'm also gonna show you guys where to mount the sub-controllers and how I'm gonna be wiring and powering everything. And then I'm probably gonna be drilling a hole at the back of this cart, in this little section right over here. So then I can fit this one LED and have it kind of just illuminate this area a little bit. So I went ahead and connected the LED strip on the front side of the door card. And now what I'm trying to do, I basically already went ahead and drilled out a hole right inside the door card, the storage area. And I basically just slipped in the light, the LED light, and it basically snapped into place perfectly. I did have to shave this styrofoam a little bit, but that's actually what's holding it in place, and it's actually perfect. This thing's not gonna move at all. And basically the drill bit I used was basically just a very slight millimeter bigger than the actual LED itself. And that's basically what's holding it in place. I snuck it in and it snapped in place. It's actually a perfect spot. And now basically after that, I'm gonna be placing I'm going to be placing the controller somewhere around right over here. And I've already tested it and the door card still fits perfectly fine. So I'm most likely going to place it like right over here. Somewhere where all the cables will, of course, get to it. Okay, so the passenger door card is now wired in. So I basically just mounted the hub controller right over here. And I just used some double-sided tape and it's really mounted good there. And this is basically the power cable. So this is the other end of the kit I basically got that I was talking about earlier. And then basically every time I take the door card off, this will just be an additional plug I just have to remove instead of having to play with all this. So I have the door card here with me at the car now. And basically this I was talking about earlier. So I'm basically just going to reconnect the speaker switch. And then this end of the cable basically just connects to the other end of this. So these two connect together. So every time I have to move the door card now, I just basically unplug this and the whole system's disconnected versus me having to undo all these cables, which look very annoying to do. So now I have the door card back together and I'm placing the LED strip right along the dash. And I basically took some double-sided tape and I'm placing it upwards because that's the only way I can basically get it to fit because it bends too weird. It doesn't want to work with the dash. So I basically kind of just placed it upright and then I stuck the dash trim back together and it looks actually really good. This actually came out super clean. So basically I took my ground cable and I basically did a conjunction of cabling, but what sums it up is that each hub has to get powered. So I have one power cable running all the way to the other side of the car right now, and that's going to be for that door card. And then somewhere along the line I'm going to split into that and put another hub right in the middle over here. So then that one will control the footwell lights and then the two LEDs that run along over here. And then the main hub is just going to be right over here. The main reason I'm putting two hubs is because the cabling is too short for these LED strips. So I'm not going to be able to make it all fit. So I'm going to put one hub here, one hub in the glove box, and then one hub for each door. So next, what I did, I basically went ahead and put back that corner piece and then I put the glove box back into the dash. And now I'm going to basically continue working on this area. So basically now I moved on to this side and I already went ahead and cabled in the power cable into the driver's side door card. And I basically also attached this LED strip right over here and fed the wire through into the dash. And basically all I'm doing, I'm putting double-sided tape and then putting the LED strips sitting upright. Basically putting the light at the very top point. So then when you put the trim piece behind it, the little gap that there is, these lights basically shine through. This LED strip is probably going to be the one that you have to run the extension on as well. So I'm going to be using the old extension that came in the package on this LED strip, and then I'm going to run it to the center hub I'm going to be putting around the shift area. And then after that, I went ahead and moved on to the door card for the driver's side. I went ahead and already installed the hub. I also did the wiring. I installed the light for the door panel storage, and then also installed the light for the LED strip on the front side as well. After that, I basically put the driver's side door card back on, and I basically powered everything up. And I also went ahead and hooked up the other sub controller that's basically kind of like my main controller. The actual quote-unquote main controller is actually in the glove box and it's only connected to this one light strip right over here. The majority of the things are going to be connected to this, which is going to be the footwell lights, this LED strip, and the two LED strips I'm also going to be running right in the middle, right over here. So for the footwell lights, it's pretty easy. I'm basically just going to wire two, one for each side of the footwell. Because this kit comes with four and I'm not going to put it in the back because this car's a coupe, you don't really need it. So I'm basically going to put two, one over there, one there, and one there. And basically for the middle, what I'm going to be doing, I cut two of the LED strips kind of to size, and then I'm basically going to run it along, right along this edge right over here, the seam, and kind of push it back so it kind of just ends right there. And then the rest of it kind of goes into the dash and then you wire it up from behind. So basically what I'm talking about, I'm going to lift this up a little bit and then I'm going to jam that LED strip kind of into that little gap that's created when you lift it up a little bit, just like that. And then that's already connected. I'm just going to wire it from behind. So now the footwell lights are in, both on each side. And I also went ahead and cut these and kind of measured them out and placed them where I kind of want it to be. And then now basically all I'm going to be really doing is putting everything back together. The install is basically done for the most part. Guys, it looks so good. Guys, so I basically just put the window switch center arm piece in. Alright guys, so after everything back together, this is how it's looking. Oh, guys, this is so much better. The light output of this kit is insane compared to the last one. And I'm going to change the modes. You can do sequential, you can do red, you can do any color you want. You can also sync it with music. Even the footwell lights are working good too. So, after seeing the kit, what do you guys think? Honestly, guys, with this kit, I'm actually very impressed, like especially on how the light output is compared to the last kit I have. Because those EL wire kits, over a while, after a lot of use, they just tend to fade out. They don't really look as good, and even the holder that they're in just tends to get like yellowish after a lot of heat cycles. This kit just is way better in every term aspect. Well, it was definitely a bit harder to set up, I would say, but overall, the final product is definitely much better. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please just leave them down below. I'm more than happy to answer. And if you guys want to see more of my car, you can go ahead and follow me on my Instagram. I'll leave it on the screen right here somewhere. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!